Dean Dovolis. I didn't butcher your last name, did I? Dean Dovolis? Did I say that right, sir? Cool.
So let me tell you the story about this, and I'll show you the boards. The good news is we've gone from having to defend ourselves, defense, now we're on offense. And the idea is we're now starting to build this vision. And this is one of the visions that the community has developed. And probably the first thing you notice, this large solar array, that this building will be self-sufficient and actually provide energy for the neighborhood that's not used within it. The other components is we're even going to work with the bees, with ARPA and the roof, that we're going to open up the building to the greenway and redevelop the greenway through this area to make it green. Because if you go down the greenway today in this neighborhood, it is brown, it is dead, it is industrial. There's no sense of commitment or ownership to it. So we're going to reconstruct 28th with the island to create the safe crossing, green that up, and create this whole entry so people with bicycles have direct access to the building. And this whole zone becomes an agricultural force that you see through here that really starts to symbolize what's going on the inside of the building, which is going to be the hydroculture, aquaculture, community gathering spaces, entrepreneurial spaces, affordable housing, as you see here on the left with its solar. These are all aspects of business, along with an overlay of community ownership. This is the vision, and what's important is this wasn't created by me or by outside architects. This was created by the community. I was simply the corporate hand that drew it and created the vision for it. But this is a community-initiated project, community-invented project, and really lays out the future. And the good news is we're not done here, because eventually we'll deal with bituminous roadways, which sits down here, and make that part of the campus. And eventually we asked for a first-right refusal in the city service yard here that we could expand to the north when the time comes where the city moves out. So our vision is just beginning with this building, and it's going to go much further. Thank you.
Is there anything else you want to show?
Oh yeah, let me walk you through, because I can show you more here. So this, I better hold it up. This is a section through the building, and what you're seeing is interior functions, which is the aquaculture and hydroculture. And the idea is that we can bring food to the community because we're growing it within the community year-round. And this will contain food from many different cultures, from the East African culture, the Native American culture, from the Latinx culture. And the idea is that we're producing this within the building blocks from here. So no longer do you have to worry about transportation, accessibility. It's here, and the good news is it'll be culturally based food that's going to be occur with this. So it's a very different model than what I consider what's kind of standard U.S. grocery store model. This is a direct community impact process for food sovereignty. And then in addition here, this sort of shows the overall scale of the building and the community gathering spot that you see in the oval, the roof garden, the solar array, and especially the greening along this portion along the greenway, that we really plan to make this site an urban ecological oasis, the opposite of what the city is proposing. Because remember, the city's plan had 888 spaces for diesel trucks and a gas station in the middle of it. Now we're reversing this by going green, solar, community-based, and changing this environment, which is mostly asphalt and dead grass, into something that's really living for the community. So this is a big transportation. On top of it, this building is going to produce 450 jobs within the community, owned by community members. So we're changing the future of the neighborhood, not only just ecologically, environmentally, but socially. So that's really what the big part of this is. So there's a lot of good things that are coming out of this project. And again, this one shows just a view. If you're coming out your bike, what it'd be like facing the greenway. And the idea is we're going to create a large community porch that overlooks this whole aspect. So the thought is that there's community spaces to gather, accessibility, interest. Where the city's plan was to build a 14-foot fence around the whole site and park cars, our building would very much integrate within the community and be part of a resource within it. So that's the idea that this is really the community's front porch, and the idea that all can be part of it. And then this plan shows where we tend to go to the future, which is to go beyond this site, what I mentioned before, to really expand the effort further and deeper within. So this is what the corner is going to look like if you're riding up in your bike along the greenway. A much different experience. We're now creating a social hub that serves bikes, pedestrians, and of course with cars, but the idea, community interaction, a welcoming front, and a great economic and environmental generator. Thank you.
What's the timetable?
Timetable is September 8th, community produces 3.7 million. We have our investors already, which is Abraham Kahin, who won SBA Person of the Year nationally. So he comes with a lot of influence. He's been with the president, vice president. SBA has approached him to help fund this already, but he's raising money. And then a gentleman by Durrani Robloff, who was an East African businessman, is partnered with them, and they created a separate entity called East Phillips Investment Corporation that'll help hold the money so that when it comes to September 7th, we will commit our portion of the purchase of the building. That's date number one. Date number two, the state legislature votes in the second half of the money, the 5.7 million. They already put in the 2 million right now as a earnest money. They put in 5 million already to approve Minneapolis to use that money to look for another location. So our closing is going to be in June of next year. At that time, we'll start construction, because during that time, we'll be developing these plans, aligning tenants, organizing the project, getting contractors' bids, and pulling all that together, the environmental analysis. So once we close, we start construction, and the idea that this building will be open for first tenant in 6 months, because it's in good shape, and that's how fast this is going to happen. So we're off to the races. It's showtime, and this is a great thing.
For more information, we have a website, epneyfarm.org. You can follow us on social media as well. On Instagram, that is East Phillips Urban Farm, and on Twitter, it is EPNI_Urban Farm. And yeah, that's where we're putting most of our updates. And yeah, we also have like weekly meetings. If you want to join and get more involved, you can do that on Wednesday at 5 p.m. Yeah, you can just send a DM to the Instagram or get in touch other ways, and we can get you hooked up to that meeting.